Good evening. Today is Sunday, November 30th, 2025. I'm Rich Stevens, and this is the Cold Take. What you are about to hear is news from this week taken only from primary sources like press conferences and court documents. You can find those sources and attribution for every story at thecoldtake.com. We begin in Washington, D.C., where two uniformed National Guardsmen were shot on Wednesday. 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf were part of the West Virginia National Guard deployment to the Capitol. The two were sworn in less than 24 hours before the attack. Janine Pirro spoke on Thanksgiving Day alongside FBI Director Kash Patel and Mayor Muriel Bowser. She revealed that the shooter drove across the country from his home in Bellingham, Washington. Using a .357 revolver, he attacked the guardsman on the street before being subdued and taken into custody. He entered the United States from Afghanistan in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome following Biden's Afghan withdrawal. Kash Patel indicated that the shooter is confirmed to have a relationship with partner forces in Afghanistan. He was initially charged with 3 counts of assault with intent to kill while armed and possession of a firearm during a crime of violence. However, on Friday, Sarah Beckstrom succumbed to her wounds, and he is now charged with first-degree murder. The president has signaled intent to pause immigration from third world countries and to, quote, denaturalize immigrants who undermine domestic tranquility. Andrew Wild is still listed in critical condition. We reported last week on Elizabeth Slotkin and 5 other Democrats who published a video imploring military to refuse illegal orders. The Department of War released a response this week. They noted that retired Naval Captain Mark Kelly is still subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice and could face prosecution. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth referred to the group as the, quote, seditious six, and said that their words put soldiers at risk. Slotkin herself has admitted that she is unaware of any illegal orders being issued. As I said last week, you can watch and read source material at thecoldtake.com and decide for yourself what you think. A story I missed last week, Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene released an 11-minute video to X last weekend. Citing congressional gridlock, attacks, and lack of loyalty from Trump, she also complained of rising debt and increasing influence of big businesses and foreign governments on American politics. Her resignation from Congress will take effect January 5th, 2026, and will leave the seat vacant. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis spoke Tuesday to announce an initiative intended to combat what he calls unethical puppy mills. The Puppy Protection Act will require pet stores to assist in the adoption of shelter animals before taking those from puppy mills. It also establishes a hotline to report abusive breeders. Florida already has strict animal abuse laws such as Trooper's Law and Dexter's Law. You can see the governor's statement and read more about Florida's animal abuse laws at thecoldtake.com. If you like news without sensationalism and opinion, please take a second and like this video. Click subscribe to be notified of new videos. Most importantly, click the share button. As we grow, it will allow us to bring you more of what you like without the things that you don't. Moving to world news, it was widely reported early in the week that the United States had brokered a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. The United States proposed a 28-point framework during discussions in Geneva last week. The White House released a joint statement voicing optimism, and Ukrainian President Zelensky released his own statement outlining the ongoing work. Ukrainian representatives will meet in D.C. this week to continue negotiations. We reported last week that the UN had adopted a U.S.-backed resolution on Israel and Gaza. The resolution adopts the 20-point plan proposed by the White House and accepted by Israel several weeks ago. While the framework includes agreements that all hostages be returned by October 3rd, 2 remain in Gaza as of today. You can read the UN resolution and Prime Minister Netanyahu's response at thecoldtake.com. Markets climbed over Thanksgiving week. The Dow added 1,472 points, while Nasdaq climbed 1,092 points. The S&P 500 had more modest gains, adding 247 to close at 68.49. Gold followed the trend, adding $139 an ounce. And in sports, Cooper Flagg surpassed LeBron James to become the youngest player in NBA history to score 35 points in one game. He did it against the Clippers in a 114-110 win Saturday night. A day earlier, he became the only 18-year-old in the history of the league to record 11 assists in a single game. In men's college basketball, TCU got the best of 10th-ranked Florida on Thanksgiving Day before beating Wisconsin Friday to win the Rady Children's Invitational. Florida beat Providence in the losers bracket and heads to Duke before facing UConn later this week. Vanderbilt beat TCU and St. Mary's to win the battle for Atlantis, and first-ranked Purdue rolled Eastern Illinois 109-62. In Qatar Friday, Oscar Piastri took pole for the sprint race. Norris qualified third, with Verstappen only able to manage sixth. In the sprint race Saturday, Verstappen was able to climb to fourth, with Norris finishing third behind George Russell. Piastri won the sprint before taking pole for today's feature race. Norris followed in second, with Verstappen third and Russell completing the second row of the grid. Thanksgiving weekend is rivalry week in college football. Friday, 16th-ranked Texas took down undefeated Texas A&M 27-17. 4th-ranked Georgia beat Georgia Tech 16-9. Second-ranked Indiana stayed perfect with a 56-3 win against Purdue. Saturday, Ohio State beat Michigan in the snow. The final of that game was 27-9. Alabama beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl 27-20 and will face Georgia in the SEC championship game. Ohio State will see Indiana in the Big Ten championship. The ACC championship game will feature Duke and Virginia after 21st-ranked SMU lost to unranked Cal 38-5 yesterday. The Florida Gators closed out a dismal season with a 41-20 home win over Florida State. Jaden Baugh ran for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. The once mighty pair of in-state rivals finished the season a combined 9-15, and neither will visit a bowl game this year. And like it or not, that's what happened. I'm Rich Stevens, and this has been The Cold Take.